everyone, it is Unadina here, and welcome to this 5th episode of my Vampire Mecha Mansion speed build series. I hope you guys had a really nice Valentine's Day yesterday, even if you did not really celebrate it, or if you were just alone, or whatever. I hope you had a really nice day nonetheless. So today, what we are going to be doing is we are moving into the crypts, as you can see here. We finished with everything above ground yesterday, and so we are going to be starting the crypts today. So this is the first level of the crypts, but as you can see, there are stairs going down one more level. So we are going to be finishing up this level today, and then we are also going to be moving downstairs a little bit and be doing a little bit of furnishing and wallpaper and flooring and whatever at the lower level as well. And then we are going to finish up the entire build in the next episode. So guys, we are almost there. We are almost towards the end. And I am doing a whole ton of fiddling in this particular room. It is sort of the landing where the stairs connect, going from the house down into the first level and then to the very lowest level of the build. And I kind of wanted this sort of room to look very detailed. I wanted it to, and by detailed I mean like the walls should look very detailed. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I didn't want the wall to just be flat, so I wanted to add a lot of like architectural details to it. But in The Sims 4, we don't actually have that many items that you can use for sort of giving walls a little bit more dimension. So I had to get a little bit creative and use some items. I mean, there are some items like pillars, like you can see I've used pillars on the wall, and some other items like the statues, the sort of gargoyle-y thingies. But I felt like I still needed some more things, so I'm trying out a whole bunch of things that are not actually particularly meant for architectural details on a wall or anything. Like you can see, what I was just doing there was placing a lot of these outdoor retreat tables and seats, rocky thingies, on the wall, because actually the reason I did that was because on the walls between the stairs and the lower level, if that makes sense, there was like a weird line, a white line, and I couldn't make it go away unless I was hiding it behind something. So I found these tables, coffee tables I think they are, and the outdoor retreat seats, and I just sort of placed them along the wall, and I think it worked okay. It sort of made it look like it was like a sort of old building or whatever. It looked fine, I think. So I keep on doing a lot of details on this room, and I have cut out quite a lot of it because I keep fiddling around trying to find objects that would work as an architectural detail, even if it isn't. So I cut out quite a bit. I hope it's not too annoying to watch. I don't think it would be. So yeah. And here I'm actually using these tombstones to try and make that work as a sort of dimensional detail to the wall. I do end up going with that. I think that looks okay. I think it looks like it's part of the wall. And I'm also using this fencing from Get Together, or this sort of ruins fence item from Get Together, just to add some detail to the wall. You can see I'm not actually showing off the fence part. It's just more like a little line going across the wall. I don't know. I just thought it gave some dimensional detail to the wall. So I am doing a lot of that. As you can see, I'm just placing it on these big columns as well. And yeah, so I'm cutting away quite a bit of it because I'm taking a lot of time doing a lot of repetitive work. I didn't think that was important. So anyways, we've moved on to this area, which is going to be the butler's quarters. and I wanted it to look as drab as possible. I wanted it to look very sad and gloomy, because I don't imagine that the butler will be living very luxuriously, and I'm also thinking that most likely he's compelled by the vampires to do this work as being their butler. So I'm just sort of feeling like he's probably trapped a little bit inside this dungeon. He's just sort of forced to live down here. But they don't really take good care of the place, making sure it's in good shape or anything. So it's quite worn down, and I also liked using that little chair from Spooky Stuff, the living chair with the sort of sheet covering it, because I thought you see that in a lot of very old abandoned houses where you'll just sort of cover all the furniture with sheets, and I just thought that that gave off that sort of look of it being very old and not very used. I don't really imagine him spending much, well, maybe, I don't know, if he spends much time here, he'll probably be spending a lot of time cleaning the house, I think, and making sure that the vampires residing here have everything they need, to the best of his ability. So yeah, that's what I imagine. So there isn't a lot of furniture in his rooms, because I didn't feel like there should be. It should just sort of be a lot of worn down stuff, and I'm placing some gardening tools in there too, thinking that he will probably be taking care of gardening as well around the house, even though there isn't all that much greenery. There should still be a few things that he can do. I am also loving all these decals on the wall. I don't know if I overdid it a little bit, but I just wanted to give the illusion that this place was really worn down. I like using these particular dark ones that I was placing just there and layering them on top of each other, because it kind of feels like it looks a little like mold. And I am imagining this dungeon to be quite sort of cold and probably a little, what is the word I'm looking for? I was going to say moist. That's not what I'm looking for. I don't know. You know, these kinds of, cool rooms that have a little too much moist. I don't know what word I'm looking for. I am looking for a different word. It's not that word. Anyways, whatever. But anyways, so I am imagining that you would probably have some mold growing down there, and that is why I put that there. So his kitchen is pretty simple. I guess he has to cook a little bit for himself, because he is a human, so he will need food, unlike the vampires. So I guess he has to cook a little bit, and I'm also imagining that, I don't know if he'll be making sure that there is a little bit of stuff to drink for the vampires that is not necessarily plasma. I don't know. Maybe he'll be making a warm cup of plasma for the vampires and bringing it to them. I don't know. That sounds a little silly, but or whatever. Anyways, at least he'll be using the kitchen for himself, I guess. I am trying to place a few items that makes it look like he will use it for serving the family he lives with, and I keep on putting a lot of all of this water damage stuff on the wall as well. And actually later on I realized that the water damage decal you can put on the wall, it also comes in other colors. I hadn't even noticed that. It comes in a reddish color as well. I mean, it could look a little bit like rust, but I'm also thinking that it could look a little bit like plasma, whatever you want to call it. I am thinking that it'll look a little bit like that as well, and that you could use it as a sort of splatter thing on the wall. It's pretty gross, I know, but yeah. So I think I'm pretty much finished with this kitchen. Just need a little bit of light. I am trying to make it quite gloomy. I'm not putting too many lights into his rooms, because I feel like there wouldn't be a lot of lights. It would probably be a very depressing, dark place. with lots of spiders. I mean, considering he's a butler, it's really not a very clean place, but maybe he's pretty tired of cleaning when he's cleaned up the rest of the house. He doesn't want to clean when he comes home or whatever you want to call this. That little milk jug that I put there, I actually had this idea that maybe the toilet isn't working in his little butler's quarters, so he'll be using this little bucket to pee in and whatever when he has to go, and he'll have to empty it somewhere. I don't know where. I don't know. I just tried to make this place as unpleasant as possible. So that was what I was trying to go for. And I do like sizing up all of these decals. Some of them don't look as good when you size them up. I'm actually not sure about this tear on the wallpaper. I can't really decide if I like it when it's sized up or if it looks a little weird. I don't know. Sorry. I don't know if it looks a little weird. I don't know. I quite like it, so that's why I used it. So in his bathroom, he pretty much has just the essentials and a bucket, of course, because the toilet isn't working. At least in my world, it isn't. It probably is, but whatever. And then I'll just be adding in a few more of the decals and dust and spider webs and all of that. And then we are going to move on to the bedroom that is also on this floor. There's going to be a bedroom for the female vampire that I made for this house. I'll be telling you a little bit about it when we get to it. Let's just talk about this for a little while longer. As you could see, I had added some scratches, by the way, to the door as well. And we went on to the bedroom. But anyways, I added some scratches to the outside of the butler's door, and I was sort of thinking that maybe it was because when the vampires were having a little bit of a fun time, or maybe they were just feeling particularly angry or something. I don't know. They would maybe go and try to get into the butler's quarter because they were really thirsty and they wanted to, attack the butler or something. But I imagine that he keeps his door pretty locked all the time just to make sure that does not happen, because that wouldn't be very nice for him. But anyways, okay, we've moved on to this bedroom, and my idea with this, if you watched the first episode, I don't remember which episode I told you about the vampire that I made for this build, but I told you about Lilith, the vampire that I made, and she's this sort of, her human form has this sort of very bright look. She's clad in white, and she's got very blonde hair and doughy eyes, and she sort of looks very innocent, and that is sort of what is supposed to be part of her allure. So my thought with her is that she will be luring in humans with her very innocent looks, and then she will be taking them to this bedroom here, which has also got this white theme going on, which should give them a very false sense of comfort. And then she will probably reveal her dark form when she's in here, when she's got very dark hair and dark makeup, and she looks pretty evil in her dark form. So yeah, you've been tricked. If she gets you down here, you've definitely been tricked. And behind that door, there's going to be a nursery. I am imagining Lilith's spawn to be in there. And my idea, actually, with this, what am I trying to say? With this room, is that Lilith is going to seduce some humans and bring them into this room, and then she's somehow going to, I'll tell you a little bit about that, but she's going to sort of make them very weak, and then she's going to bring them into the nursery where her little baby spawn resides, and then that is her way of bringing food to her baby. I know that is pretty creepy, but that was what I was going for with this particular room and the nursery that's next to it. I do end up putting some cupcakes in this room on a pedestal. I know that's a little strange, but I'm putting them in front of the fireplace on a pedestal. And I am thinking that when she seduces a human and brings them down here, they're probably going to be like compelled, or no, not compelled, but they're going to be in a pretty weird state of mind when they're down here. She will have seduced them in a sort of, I don't know, weird manner, and their brain will probably be all over the place. Not literally, but not literally, but yeah. Anyways, so they will see this little plate of cupcakes or cakes or whatever, and they'll take one, thinking that that's all good and that's nice and whatever. And they'll eat one of those, and they will become extremely drowsy and sleepy, and that is when Lilith will take them to her spawn, and yeah, they're the cupcakes. I'm not placing them on a pedestal yet. I'll do that a little later. But that was my idea with it, because the baby is not very strong yet. It is a vampire, but it is not a strong one, because, I don't know, a small vampire wouldn't be that strong that it could just sort of hold on to a human while he's trying to fight back. So that is probably why Lilith will try to pacify the humans first and then bring them into the nursery. That is a very creepy baby, and I'm sorry if you think that is a little much, but that is the kinds of stories that I make up in my mind about vampires. They're not nice vampires in my mind. Definitely not. So yeah, I really liked this bedroom. I actually liked what I did with those consoles, the sort of marble consoles that I put behind the bed, and then sort of paired them with a dining table and some cupboards, and I've just sort of made an entire sort of console-looking piece of furniture. I don't really know how to explain it, but I just think it looks pretty nice. I like it. I was struggling with trying to put something on top there because it kept popping onto the table instead of on top there, and I ended up removing it anyway, so whatever. I wanted to put a few items on there, but I didn't feel like a lot of items really fit, so I just ended up with this little flower and then a couple of statues. Oh, I don't end up putting that there. I deleted it. But that dorky statue stays, I think. Changing up the lights a little bit, I was feeling like it was very sort of yellow, cozy light right now, so I make it slightly more cold. The colors are going to be slightly more cold. I do change some of the lights back to a more yellow color because I didn't want it to be very clinically white, because it is candles after all, and they will give off a very soft yellow light. So I end up having some of them be yellow and some of them be more white, so that you'll have a sort of little bit yellow and a little bit cold-ish light in the room. And I think we'll be moving on to the nursery now. So my idea with this nursery was to have curtains all around. I'm fiddling around with it quite a lot, so I cut out that part because I can't find a curtain that I like. I end up with the curtain that you'll see in just a moment. This one, because that was the best one I could find. This idea with the bassinet in the middle of all of these curtains was an idea that I got from Delicacy's video. She also made a vampire house at some point, and I watched it and I saw she made a nursery, and she had this sort of bassinet with some curtains around it like that, and I thought that was a pretty sweet idea. So I thought I would go with that too. And she also had this little sort of extra room with some arches and all of that. So I just took those ideas and sort of tried to fit it into my build, because I thought those were very cool ideas. But I don't think the rest of the room looks at all like what she made, so it's not like I'm copying her or anything. I just thought it was a very cool idea. But yeah, I think what I'm going for with this room is that I want to have like a very or a combination of light and dark colors. I'm continuing the white theme from Lilith's room in there, but I am also going to put in a lot of black furniture and black flooring around the edges of the room. You'll see that in a little bit, I think. And then the bassinet itself is also black with a very dark purple cushion, or whatever you want to call it. And my thoughts behind that was that this room should be sort of unsettling. It should feel a little bit like, it's all bright and it is a baby who's in there, but then there's also this contrast of darkness everywhere. And it is a pretty evil baby. I mean, Lilith is bringing all her victims in here and letting the baby eat from them. That is pretty nasty, to be honest. So I do want this room to feel a little unsettling. That is what I'm going for, at least. So that's why I'm sort of combining these white colors with the very black colors. And hopefully that worked out. I think it worked out pretty well. Just trying out a ghost gnome for some reason, because why not? You would totally have a ghost gnome in a nursery, why not? But yeah, anyways, I think it worked out pretty well with this combination of dark and light to give this unsettling feel. Also added in a couple of toddler items, because I am imagining if you have a baby in here, they'll probably be growing up to a toddler sometime soon. So yeah, and chucking in a lot of mirrors as well, as always. Actually, not a lot. Did I just chuck in one? I don't know. Anyways, mirror as always. And, you should always just make sure that your baby is still a vampire, or I don't know. Or if a fairy is entering the room, I don't know, whatever. So, yes. Just putting some pictures. I think these spooky stuff pictures actually change when it is night or something. I don't actually know how they work, but I think they do change. I haven't used them in gameplay at all, so I don't know, to be honest. But anyways, we are done with the nursery now. And we have moved on to the very lowest level of the build, and this is the Great Hall. I am just working on a little bit of a fountain thing, and I'm just playing around with some floor tiles and some patterns, or custom-made patterns that I'm trying out. By custom-made, I don't mean custom content. I don't use custom content, but I'm just fiddling around with some patterns, trying to make some patterns with the different floor tiles that we have. So in this Great Hall, there is going to be... Oh, I'm also changing all the flooring and some of the walls as well, by the way. You'll see me doing that now. But anyways, what I was just about to say, so what we're going to have down here is going to be, at the very end, the wall we are facing right now, we will have like an altar kind of thing going on. That is the plan with that. And then you can see on either side of this sort of aisle going down here, there are little sort of half rooms, and that is going to be where your vampires are sleeping. They're going to have one of these rooms, each of them. There's going to be a coffin there, and some of them are going to be more beautifully decorated than others. The ones closest to the altar are going to be the ones with the nicest looking rooms and coffins. But anyways, I'm not going to be decorating that today, by the way. That is going to be tomorrow in the next episode of the build. But anyways, that's what I'm going to be doing. But I'm only going to place 4 coffins down here, but there is definitely room. As you can see, there is sort of 8 rooms in total. So I've put something else in 4 of them, like a little decorative thing. You'll see that in the next episode. But if you wanted to have 8 vampires residing down here, you can absolutely just delete what is in those rooms and put a coffin in instead. That will be pretty easy for you to do, and then you will have room for all your vampires to be underground. Of course, there's also room for your vampires to be in other parts of the house if you don't need them to be in coffins, or if you don't need them to be underground. I did make a coffin bedroom at the top floor of the house, for instance, and I also made a couple of normal bedrooms with normal beds in it. So yeah, I'm just trying out the two, blah blah. What am I saying? Trying out the 2, that makes sense. No, I'm trying out a few things with the altar. I'm trying to make the altar here. I used this sort of, I guess it's supposed to be a werewolf. I don't really know why vampires would have like a werewolf thing at the altar, but you know, whatever. They're worshipping something, I guess, or making offerings, or I don't know what they're doing here. They're doing something. So anyways, that's what I'm going to go with, and I do like pairing this urn with these dried out flowers. I think that looks pretty nice, but I'm going to be moving those to a different place because I feel like I am cluttering this altar section a little too much in the end. So I end up moving those urns with the flowers to sort of the side of the aisle. I think I'll do that in the next episode, though I'm not sure I'll do it here because I'm not going to finish this entire room in this episode. That is going to be in the next episode where we finish up the entire build. And I really liked using these pedestals as a sort of base for the what are they called, for the pillars. And also these stairs, I felt like they were giving a sort of look of this build being very old. And maybe there was something else in this room before this altar had been made, so it has been rearranged through time. But anyways, guys, I actually think we are closing in on the end of this video. So if you want to connect with me, as always, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think of this video, or if you think there's something that I could do better, or something that I do really well, or whatever you want to say. I would be happy to hear. You can also connect with me on Twitter and Facebook by looking for @Unagina on both platforms. There's also going to be links in the description down below if you want to find me on either of those platforms. But either way, guys, if you liked this video, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you so much for watching. Have a great day and see you soon.